Hey everyone, welcome to Venture Forward. It's early July 2023, and in this episode we're going to compare the off-highway performance of a couple of 2020 Sprinter vans with the new 2023 all-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter. If you stumbled upon this video randomly, you might be wondering, why would someone off-road a Sprinter van? While I can't speak for everyone, for me it's not about off-roading. If I wanted to go wheeling, I'd take my Jeep Wrangler. But if you're familiar with Venture Forward, you know that I love to explore and wander deep into the backcountry to find beautiful, hard-to-reach campsites like this one. And that means learning my vehicle's limits and maximizing its capability to access these places. To get a feel for the differences between the four-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter VS30 and the brand new all-wheel drive version, we're taking three vans out into the field right now. Two of them are slightly older Winnebago Revels on Agile Offroad suspensions and slightly oversized tires. The third, light tan-colored van is the 2023 all-wheel drive Sprinter, and that is also equipped with an Agile Offroad suspension and oversized tires. But I think both Agile vans, John's blue Revel and the tan Sprinter, are equipped with ARB air lockers in the rear axle. So that gives them both a very profound traction advantage over my van. Right now we're heading out into the backcountry with the three vehicles to put them to the test and do some comparing. Alright, we're in the Anza Borrego desert, and I am testing the 2023 all-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter up an obstacle. And we're going to see how this goes, see if it has the crawl ratio, see if it has the traction. My 2020 four-wheel drive Sprinter made it up, but very reluctantly. I had to sit there for a better part of 5 minutes and wait for the traction control to kick in. It is a lot easier in the all-wheel drive platform. It's surprising, but you can feel it hunting around for traction. It finds it, it delivers power to the wheels, and off we go. In order for most modern all-wheel drive and traction control systems to redirect power to the wheel that has traction, it has to detect another wheel slipping. From the outside, this sort of looks like the vehicle is flailing. It's kicking up dust, it's displacing earth. But after we were all done, we got out there with shovels to repair the trail and replace the earth that we displaced. This is sort of an aside, but the vans from Agile Offroad happen to be equipped with ARB locking differentials in the rear axles. And without getting too technical, a locker is a traction device that mechanically locks the differential so that both wheels on an axle rotate at the same speed no matter what. That means little or no slippage, more traction, and a lot less impact on the terrain. Let's take a look at the all-wheel drive Sprinter with the rear locker engaged.
And the air will need to be on, and then the locker.
Got it.
And they should be right there on the dash.
Got it.
Okay.
Alright. This thing feels so light because it's not a conversion. It doesn't have anything in it. Alright, we are going to try this again with the ARB air locker. There we go, locker is engaged. Up we go. You have to be really gentle with the pedal. It could definitely stand to have a lower crawl ratio. Although with the rear locker engaged, you don't have to hunt around for traction quite as much. It's a magic button, basically. That's fine. I think it could use a little bit more crawl because throttle control is a little bit hard, but it has the traction.
His back tires didn't even spin at once.
Okay, this is John's four-wheel drive Revel, which is a similar year to mine. It has 285 tires. I have the rear air locker engaged, and mine has 275, so my tires are slightly smaller. But with the rear air locker engaged, it's just walking along, so I don't need to rely on momentum. It's just going. At this point, this is where my van just bogs down, and mine got through, but it had to wait for like 5 minutes. This doesn't hesitate at all. The crawl ratio is a little bit nicer than the all-wheel drive, though. I'll say that for certain. This next test is in my own van, which of the vehicles here is the closest representation to stock. And you'll see in this footage that it's still very capable, but it's a little bit more reluctant and it works a lot harder. Okay, last but not least, I'm in my 2021 Winnebago Revel, which is on a 2020 four-wheel drive chassis. And I'm taking a stab at the same thing that we did with the other vans. And I already made it once, but it took a while with the traction control. So we're gonna see how this goes. It has an Agile Offroad rip kit, which is a suspension system, and 275 tires. Just needs a little bit more persuasion. All right, we made it, but it took some patience. You have to wait for the traction control to do its thing. Now we've tested each vehicle on the practical obstacle. Let's try the hard line using the two vans from Agile Offroad, which have slightly more ground clearance and 33-inch tires. Here, the all-wheel drive van has its air locker disengaged, and as you can see, it's hunting for traction, finding it, and then inching forward one mogul at a time. It's flailing around a little bit, but as you can see, it's getting the job done and moving forward very consistently. It's impressive and it's working well. Wait a sec. Suddenly the front wheels aren't turning, and now it's just the rears that are spinning. I got a message on the dashboard that says Formatic currently unavailable, so all-wheel drive just went offline for some reason.
Formatic currently unavailable. You want to get a picture of this? So once I think it started spinning too much, it did not like that. That was first gear, right? Yeah. I didn't manually shift it. It literally went like, hey, too much, too many revs, too many ponies. So now it's back on.
Apparently, if you're pushing too hard, it'll take all-wheel drive offline for a minute. All you have to do is pop it in park, wait for 60 seconds, and it'll come back. Now, I'm not a fan of this nanny, but it is a really good cue to cool your jets and pick a cleaner line. So yeah, it does take some control away from the driver, but it might also help save you from breaking stuff. One striking difference between the old van and the new van is power delivery. The Sprinters equipped with the 6-cylinder turbo diesel deliver power to the ground very sparingly. In fact, often you'll have the throttle to the floor and the wheels will be reluctant to even turn, even though it has enough torque, which I presume is due to the computers holding back. And it's sometimes influenced by parking sensors or the electronic stability program. For these tests, we left these gizmos in their default state, which is enabled. The new van is equipped with a 4-cylinder twin-turbo diesel, and this delivers power to the ground noticeably more generously. But as you saw, it will take all-wheel drive offline if you're too aggressive. Next up is John's 2020 4-wheel drive Sprinter up the hard line. The van is in first gear, 4 low, with the rear air locker engaged. This video is a collaboration with Agile Offroad, located in Santee, California. These guys did a lot of recording themselves and got some great footage, so keep an eye on Agile Offroad on social media for their own take.
Oh my God. I got that on footage. He is the size of man.
I feel really bad about that. This isn't mine. He says it's paid off, though. This was an extremely insightful comparison. Removing the ARB air locker from the equation, stock for stock, the all-wheel drive is better at finding traction and getting the power to the ground. The only hang-up that I have is throttle control. It's a lot easier to maintain a low speed with the older vans that have the selectable low range. If you have a 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive Sprinter and you'd like to experience terrain like this often, then I highly recommend equipping it with an ARB air locker. Again, it makes the vehicle more capable, more graceful, and it's much less impact on the terrain than relying on the traction control system. That's a relatively costly modification, but it's well worth it if you do this regularly. If you only plan on coming out here into the backcountry occasionally, then your stock van is just fine. It'll get it done, just with a little bit more patience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.